Welcome to the Misunderstood Lawyer. I'm Lee, and this is a brand new series that gives an in-depth look at the practice of law. We're going to cover everything from should you go to law school to how to set up your own firm. But before we get started, I'm a practicing attorney, so everything comes with a disclaimer. These videos are purely for educational and informational purposes. All the opinions are my own, and any mistakes, those are definitely mine. If you could do us a favor and remember to hit like and subscribe button, it would really help us out. Now, for the very first video, I thought we should tackle the most commonly asked question of attorneys, which is, should I go to law school? And when I asked this question prior to me going to law school, it was because I didn't know what to ask. I didn't know what to expect from law school. I didn't know what the practice of law even entailed. And we're going to do another video addressing the questions you can ask attorneys, but for right now, let's focus on who typically asks this question to us. And it's usually asked by high school or college students. But they're usually students that we don't know, and that's important. Because if we don't know you, we don't know how you think, whether you like to read or write, how you handle multitasking, if you even know what multitasking is, how you handle stress or pressure. And so we end up giving vague advice that roughly translates to, sure, if you like to argue, go to law school. Or no, you should do anything but law school. Or my personal favorite, if you want to ruin your life, become an attorney. So, what can you expect in law school? Well, law school can be summed up in four major concepts, in my personal opinion: reading, writing, speaking, and stress. And we're going to break down each one individually. Number one, reading. Law school is a lot. I mean, a lot of reading. You're going to be reading cases, summaries, briefs, and legal research. And I know what you're thinking, duh, of course it is. Well, let's look at it a little closer. On average, you're going to have about 4 to 5 classes a week, 40 to 80 pages per class, which could be anywhere between 200 to 400 pages a week. And it could go higher. Also, this isn't laid back romance novel reading. This is intensive reading comprehension. You're actively engaging with the text, you're analyzing, you're drawing inferences, you're relating them to a set of facts. You're figuring out why a judge made the decision and what facts might have changed that decision. And if you're hoping that all the cases are interesting, some are, like Paul's Graph versus Long Island Railroad, but some aren't. I'm looking at you, property. All of you, property. Everything about property. No. Now, let's address writing. It's also a lot of practical writing. You're going to be writing outlines of the cases, notes for class, condensed outlines of your outlines for the tests, and that's just classwork. And then you have legal writing assignments, law review articles, and legal case summaries, not to mention writing and rewriting the same brief 8 times. You'd be surprised how much of your day can be spent doing one sentence and trying to find the right sentence that makes your argument, quote, perfect. But yeah, I mean, I'm talking hours there. Hours. Now, let's move on. Number three, speaking. As a practicing attorney, 60% of my day is talking to peers and partners, opposing counsel, the courts. And you're going to learn how to change your tone, your method of speaking, and your arguments to suit each individual or entity that you're addressing. And you start learning how to modify your arguments in law school, but the real training starts when you're a young attorney. And as for law school, many law schools still utilize the Socratic method, which is a fancy term meaning that your teacher is going to call on you to articulate the meaning of a case that you were supposed to read the day before, which you probably didn't. And you're either going to be ridiculed or exalted in front of your peers, and if you're like me, usually ridiculed. And some people love this type of attention. I did not, but I survived, and so will you. The Socratic method does have a purpose. For some teachers, it's simply a way of marking attendance. For others, it's a way to teach you how to understand a case so you can reasonably articulate its holdings, apply it to a particular argument, and interpretation on the spot. And this becomes a crucial skill that we use daily as practicing attorneys when the judge is basically screaming in your face because she doesn't understand your motion. As you progress into your second and third year of law school, the amount of public speaking increases, including moot courts, mock trial, and mock appellate hearings. And I just want to stress that if you are an introvert and you're a little concerned about how much public speaking there actually is, don't worry. The practice makes you perfect, and you get better and better and better. Now, let's move on to the biggest one, which is number 4, stress. Honestly, they should just rename the entire profession the profession of anxiety and stress-induced panic. We're going to have a video later on that gives you advice on how to handle stress, but let me tell you something. You can't avoid it. In law school, you're going to have multiple stress points. The amount of work to handle, juggling class deadlines, tests, pressure from peers, bar exam, and even the personalities of your peers and your teachers are hard to take sometimes. As a practicing attorney, daily stress comes from the never-ending competing interests of your personal life and your professional obligations. Professionally, we have an ethical and fiduciary obligation to our clients and the courts. Clients, understandably, are anxious about being sued or starting a lawsuit, and they typically want responses immediately, within minutes, and lots of them really just want seconds. It's not uncommon for a client to demand a memorandum on the chances of a successful suit by the end of business, but they've already left for vacation at noon and they're not going to look at it for another 2 weeks. In contrast, we also have to uh, adhere to deadlines imposed by the courts. And it's always a balancing act to meet your client's demands and the courts. And on top of the client and the court demands, we also have to deal with pressures that a firm may impose on us, like minimal billable hour requirements, physical office hours, limited vacations, response times, blogs, social media posts, articles. And as for your personal life, you're dealing with all the usual pressures: family, family obligations, friends, bills, being in debt from law school, and trying to be present mentally and physically for your friends, your family, I mean, heck, even your kids. Now, so the question really becomes, is law school right for you? And well, that's up for you to decide. Personally, I love my job because it provides such a variety on a daily basis, from the cases you're working on to the people that you get to talk to. But I'm not going to lie to you, variety also increases your daily stress levels because you never know what's going to walk in the door. So if you're choosing law school because you're bored and you're not sure what to do with your future, or because you wore an RBG costume for Halloween every single year, well, absolutely cool, and we should totally be friends. It's certainly not a sufficient reason to go to law school. And you may be wondering, well, no one would go to law school if you didn't want to go, but a lot of people go just because they think, hey, I don't have any plans for after college, so I'll just do another degree. You need to take the time for yourself to figure out whether you would be happy in this profession. And note that I said you, not your friends, not your family, not your ego. And ego plays a huge role in these decisions, especially if you've told everyone since you were 5 you're going to be an attorney. But law school is not only expensive, but it's all consuming, and you practically disappear for 3 years. So don't be afraid to change your mind. And again, that's really easy to say, but it does take a lot of courage. It's hard to change your mind since it's been set since you were 5, and then be brave enough to tell people about it. But don't just go to law school to keep on keeping on. Now, I hope you enjoyed the video. Now go out there and be yourself, because honestly, everybody else is already taken. Thanks for that one, Oscar. And thank you for watching. And if you have any questions or thoughts or comments, please put them in the comments below or reach out to me through the social media links and descriptions. There will be more videos coming along, but take care.